Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, welcome. So one of my New Year's resolutions is to post more consistently on YouTube. So I'm aiming for once a week. I feel like that's not much. Minimum 2 times a month. Like that's what I'm aiming for right now. Hopefully I can do more, but I'm starting small. I'm not setting high expectations right now. I should be drinking water right now, but I have not touched this yet and I can feel the lack of caffeine. So I gotta get that in. I'm taking you guys through a leg day in this video, but first I wanted to talk a little bit about post-show, just kind of like touch on it briefly. So my last video, I talk about how, you know, I had my fun after the show for that weekend, and then I had to start my reverse. And I was like, oh, I don't think it's gonna be hard. You know, like I was so disciplined for prep, I'll be fine. I've learned and I've heard that everybody's first time doing a reverse diet after a prep is like the worst, and that's how you learn. And let me tell you, I have been so freaking hard on myself these past, I'd say like 10 weeks, because this past week I've actually been like a lot more confident in my body and a lot like just like feeling better, feeling stronger, accepting the weight gain. But like before I started prep, I remember thinking, oh my God, it's gonna be so cool to get down to like being that lean. I can't wait to see what I look like. And I was so comfortable in my body before prep that I didn't think that the weight gain after prep would be an issue. Like I didn't think mentally it would mess with me. Oh my God, it did. Let me tell you, my stage weight was 117, but that was after cutting water, that was after everything. So I was probably around like, my 1 week out weight was like 123-ish. After the show, I had dinner, and then Sunday we kind of just like ate whatever. And then Monday we flew home, so we kind of just like ate whatever. And I remember I stepped on the scale and I was like 132, and I was like, oh my God, like I gained so much weight, like I need to chill, blah, blah, blah. So that kind of was like a slap in the face, like, okay, like let's get this shit together, right? So I got back on plan. I ended up dropping back down to like 125. I was good, you know, everything was fine. And then I got this like thing in my head like 2 weeks later where I basically just said like F it. And I remember like thinking, I was like, I don't have a show to prep for. I want to enjoy life. Like F this. I'm gonna eat what I want today. And I went home and I straight up like binged. I like devoured so much stuff that I had in my refrigerator, and that happened a few more times. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it or anything, and I struggled. And you know, after that I would constantly like step on the scale. I would like look at the number. I would feel super bloated after I would eat, because it wasn't just like I was eating like 1 or 2 things, like I was eating a lot. And again, I feel like everybody who does their first reverse diet goes through this, so I know that I'm not alone. But in that time period, it was just so difficult. And I just remember thinking like, I just want things to go back to normal. I want to be able to like enjoy balance, because I felt like I couldn't do anything in moderation. I felt like if I messed up a little bit that day and I had something that was off plan, I had to just like totally like balls to the wall. Like I was like, oh, I already ate 1 thing off plan, what's like 5 more things? And then before you know it, I'm like 1,000 calories deep in food that I shouldn't be eating. Did this happen every single day? No. Did it happen probably like once a week, once every 2 weeks? Yeah, it did. So again, you live and you learn. I know for next time, I know what to do. I know that I need to stay disciplined, because I saw it. I'm not in a bad spot, and I'm actually very happy with where I am right now. And I'm happy that I didn't, even though I messed up, I didn't overdo it, if that makes sense. Like I don't know. Everyone messes up, but I've been told that it's okay. And honestly, I'm like very happy with where I'm at now, and I can look back and acknowledge the struggle that I went through. But let me tell you, seeing yourself at your absolute leanest, like in that video, I watch it back sometimes and I see like where I pinch like my stomach, and it's like literally skin. There's nothing else there, no fat, no nothing, no water. And going from that to a regular healthy body fat percentage and holding water again, it's really freaking hard on your mental. Like it's very hard. But I don't know, I'm upset. I was upset with myself, but I'm also very proud of myself, because it could have been worse, right? Like I look back and I think like how disciplined I was. I remember the nights like 3 weeks out or 3 weeks post show where I was laying in bed and my stomach was just growling, and I was like, I could go eat whatever I want right now. I'm starving. I don't have a show. Like, let me just go to the kitchen and eat. And I was like, no, like I gotta stick to the reverse. So there was good and there was bad. There were sometimes I gave in, there were sometimes I didn't. So that's kind of where I was at. But all in all, guys, I'm just happy to be back in the gym and like enjoying it again. I'm happy to have my strength back and like really push weight, and I can see myself growing. And I remember like towards the end of prep, and in one of my videos I talk about how much going to the gym was like a chore for me and I hated it, and that sucked because it's like my happy place. And I'm just happy that that's back. I'm like reprogramming stuff that I enjoy doing again, because I was on like the same program for all like 20 weeks I was prepping. It's just like I'm in a much better headspace, and most of all, I'm very happy that I'm able to enjoy balance. I'm actually kind of at that point where like I don't really want to have a cheat meal because I know how crappy I'm gonna feel. Usually I'll eat a cheat meal and then I'll be really bloated, and then the next day I'll be like really bloated, and I'll have to go to the gym and wear like those tight shorts around my stomach, all bloated, and it's so uncomfortable. I hate it, I hate it. But like, you gotta have balance, right? But part of me is like, I don't even wanna do that, you know? Like, I just wanna like stick to my plan. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about like my post-show experience, and everyone always said, oh my God, like the reverse is so much harder than the prep. And I remember thinking like, how the hell is the reverse harder than the prep? Like, you're done prepping, like you can eat again. Like, why is everyone complaining about this? And then I went through it and now I understand. It is harder than the prep. It's so much harder than the prep. It requires so much more discipline. So if you're thinking about prepping, that's just like another thing that I think that you should take into consideration, and something that I didn't really take into consideration when like determining that I wanted to compete. It's definitely something that is a very important part, and something that should be done like well. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna take you through this leg day. This was a quad focused leg day. So something that I noticed after this prep was that my quads are actually nowhere near as big as they need to be as a wellness competitor. I thought that my quads were like much bigger than they actually were, but they weren't. So a lot of emphasis is being put on the quads this off season. I don't plan on competing again until like early 2024. So I'm taking all of 2023 to try to grow as much as I can. I actually just did a GI map that I sent out a few days ago, and then I have blood work on Friday to make sure that all of my hormones are good and everything's just good. You know, you want to make sure everything's back to normal after being in such like a depletion state. This was a killer quad day, killer. Like I said, I've been really emphasizing my quads recently, so I feel like on my quad glute days I would focus like a little bit on quads but more so on glutes. So now I'm like really taking the time to focus on quads. I'm really taking the time to prioritize movements that involve like a lot of knee flexion. Anyway, gonna walk you guys through this, and I hope you enjoy. All right, guys, so starting off this quad focused leg day, we're gonna start with leg extensions to get those quads nice and primed and activated and ready to go. So you can see I have a hip thrust pad under my knees. That's not necessary, but this machine's a little bit awkward for me, and it's actually kind of broken, so the wood is coming out and it really hurts the back of my knees. But this also helps me to get a greater stretch on that bottom portion and really like stretch out my quads. But again, just personal preference. So I'm doing 3 sets of 12 on these, and then on my last set, I'm doing a drop set, trying to do as many as I possibly can. I dropped the weight by about half and then just tried to rep it out. Make sure that you're really focusing on getting that nice squeeze and contraction at the top, not just going through the motions and pushing weight. And then there's me completely just waddling out of my first exercise. Next up, we have hack squats. So this is our main compound movement. So as you can see, I did add a band to the top, and what this does is really help me to take some of the pressure off of my knees at the bottom of the hack squat and allow me to really just focus on my quads working. So I'm going to put my feet nice and low on the platform to really emphasize that knee flexion and make sure I'm hitting quads rather than like glutes and hammies. Here I'm doing 2 sets of 8 to 12, really pushing to failure on that top working set. And then I'm doing 1 back off set of 15 to 20 where I drop the weight and just rep it out. These are the most humbling exercise in the entire world. I have such a love-hate relationship with them. So pendulum squats, We are going to keep our feet as low as we can on the platform to really emphasize that knee flexion again, but not too low where our heels are coming up. So as you can see, I'm a little bit lower, but I'm more so like right in the middle, really focusing on that knee flexion and that depth. Make sure that you are going slow and controlled on the way down. Another thing, make sure that you're pressing your back into the pad on both these hack squats and pendulum squats. You don't want your back arching as you're pushing yourself back up. You really want to keep that core nice and tight and engaged. I did 3 sets of 12 to 15 on these. Next up, I was actually supposed to do walking lunges, 3 sets of 12 to 15 each leg, but the turf was absolutely packed and I said no way. So I moved to the single leg press instead. I aimed for the same rep range and I really focused on, again, keeping my foot low on the platform. Last quad focused exercise, we're doing heel elevated goblet squats. John actually had to help me pick this up because it was such a heavy dumbbell and I was so gassed from this workout. So I did a set of 12 to 15 and then I dropped the heavier dumbbell, swapped it out for a lighter dumbbell and did a drop set of another 12 to 15 reps. As you can see, my form was not as well maintained as I would have liked towards the end, but I did 3 sets of this drop set. So each set I did a drop set. My quads were absolutely on fire after this. I was so done. And then I finished off with some calf raises because we are not skipping calves in 2023. That is the main goal. Don't skip calves. I did 3 sets of about 12 to 15 here. And then even though it was a quad focused leg day, we got to just check out the overall pump for the credentials. So here are the results of that workout. Absolutely killer, guys. You have to try it. Also, shameless plug. These are my favorite shorts ever. I wear them every leg day. They are the Alphalete Amplifies. You can use the link in my bio to head to the website and use code Kiri for 10% off. All right, guys, that is the workout. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you try it. If you can't tell from the video, this one absolutely murdered me. I was waddling around the gym half the time. So yeah, let me know if you try it. I really want to try to stick to this once a week thing. So please let me know if there's anything specific you guys want to see. You can let me know in the comments below. You can let me know on Instagram. And please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm really trying to connect with you guys more on here. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. As always, I will put the @ right here. And then that is all until next time, guys. See ya.